I'm Riley Harvey for VCN, and we are with the Heroica series. We're on Stelvio tonight. That's 13.66 kilometers of pure pain as we head almost entirely uphill with no brakes. These riders are going to be passing, I think it's 19 hairpins, stupid amount of hairpins to get to the top. 138, let's just say that. And battling all the way. 1 minute and 25 till we start this event off. Doug Hart on the front line there with Joris Sheppers, Rob Miller, Woods Clace, Wally Gorda, Lee, Daniel Schock, John Beams, Wayne Schnitzling, P. Reeves, Krasnoborski. We'll be seeing whether some of the riders have decided to use this as one of their dropped events. We've got 40 riders on the course currently. As you can see from the profile across the bottom of the screen there, all red, few spots of orange, little teaser of green at the beginning to allow you a fast run into this. So we'll, as per usual, there'll be an explosion off the start line as the riders zoom off to hit those first early hairpins, and I think we'll see a big split up in the field. Not much drafting benefit to be had on the course. It is almost all entirely uphill and below speed. Try and keep you entertained with a little bit of light chat. We're off and up and running. Some waves from Van Beers there. Mark Rowbottom, Racio in at the front. Arno Dennett from AESRT there. Just drifting back slightly in the pack. Another good strong showing from Team 3R again as Lee just drops out of this front pack. 17 riders in this front pack. Wayne Schnitzling, the Team 3R there. We're into the gradient, plus 6.2. This is a course quite often favoured by the Everesting crew. Not too far away from January now, where there's usually a usually an Everesting competition. An Everesting themed month, January, for RGT. I have to see whether that's still the case now that Wahoo have made the acquisition, but they've, in previous years, they've had an agreement where they support the World Bicycle Relief, and they've done that by having an Everesting event during the month of January to help raise awareness and money for World Bicycle Relief. Jonathan Orr is on the front there, and John Beams comes through, takes the lead. It looks like he's applying a little bit of pressure there on the front of this race. Those beautiful hairpins. RGT increased the scope of the graphics in all of the real roads. You can see they look much more populated with trees all the way throughout there. The distance, you can see that beautiful sky. The rendered clouds quite clear tonight. Daniel Nuber there coming through. The front of the chase group with Wouter Claes. Thinning out here, stretching. Darno Dennett just turning the screw. Jonathan Orr staying with him. Mark Rowbottom on form tonight. He comes through, takes the lead of the race. We're on to an early segment here. Just checking there. I think John Beams was streaming tonight, but I'm not sure if he's running his stream. Seeing if we could check in and see how he was getting on. How he was finding it. Darno Dennett's going great guns at the front here. Mark Rowbottom, John Beams in this front group. Lorenzo Simons is there as well. Lorenzo's doing great on these Heroica series. Jerry Sheppers down there in, I think, 16th position. Mentioned Everesting earlier on. I think Jerry Sheppers was the first person to do an Everesting on RGT. RGT now recognised by Hell's 500 as one of the platforms where you can do an official virtual Everesting. It was only Zwift, but they have started to open it up to some alternative platforms now, realising that a lot of dedicated users who don't use Zwift anymore. But it was RGT and Zwift, and I think recently they've just added the Ruby or Be Cool into their list of approved platforms. Oh, yep, John Beams is running his stream. If you're looking for an alternative view of the event. see John in his pain cave as he tries to beast his way up this climb. I think he's got himself muted though. Really, my mouse is playing up on me tonight. Arno Dennett, Cedric Daniels made a little bit of a ground there. He was further back in the pack. He's come flying up in these last few kilometres. Perhaps had a little bit of an issue at the start. Managed to get himself back up there. Jonathan Orr leading in this event overall, with Arno Dennett, Cedric Daniels, his teammate, just shortly behind. With him, John Beams and Lorenzo Simons. So even this front group now splintering up. Oh, and Arno Dennett at the front now. Thanks for joining on the chat. Zhao. Is it Zhao? Lookner. He's Goano, Jonty and Rob. Well, I think we've just managed to smooth out the stream. We were having some terrible buffering issues there. And not entirely sure why, guys. Because all the speeds for the internet are pretty high. But now that we are looking like we smoothed back out again, if anyone can give me a shout if it drops out, that would be fantastic. We can see Jonathan Orr there has increased his lead in the front to 95 meters over Arno Dennett. Arno Dennett there, and we can see the gap there to Daniil's 150 meters, and John Beams close on his heels. See some of the other riders there coming up the hairpins. It's a great part of this course where we can see quite a few hairpins off in the distance there. Frederick Daniil's there pushing on and keeping John Beams distanced. John Beams, heart rate up at 168. Woods Clace in 5th position. And well on this course. With Lorenzo Simons and the early runner Mark Rowbottom in 6th and 7th. Williamson in 8th. Jay Vanna in 9th position. He's our first Team 3R rider. No, he's not. Cedric Daniils and Jonathan Orr, both Team 3R. Cup Riley. Kerpel in 10th position. Newton, 11th. Daniel Schock, Moonriders. Closely followed by Joyce Sheppers. Vermont, the Moon Rider, Daniel Nurgber, going to be joined by his teammate Henrik Mard and Doug Hart. Little string of 3 Pedalers riders there. Simpson, 18th position. Ross and the Moon Riders in 19th. Cal Gagney in 20th. Mayard, 21st. He's being chased there by King Tubby, otherwise known as Wayne Schnitzling. Van Bears. Walagora, neck and neck with Kovacic in 24th and 25th. Krasnoborski in 26th. Krajowski of Rasio Racing, 27th position. And Caruso, Team ADR in 28th. Little gap now back to Rob Miller. Another gap back to Lee, who powering away here, trying to keep away from James there, who's closing down that gap. James in 31st, Reeves in 32nd. A little grouping of Carter. Ailes just looking back there at Hulbert. And with OT, Barbosa, Ulizal, Rakovan, Bebob, and we have got a Francois Heike who's popped in briefly, but stopped there at the beginning of the slope. Probably the best place to stop. Jonathan Orr now with 5.41 kilometers remaining. And a gap of 139 meters. Stream's still a little stuttery, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that, guys. We will try and get that resolved. I think it may just be a need for the connection to be reset, but I'm not going to do that mid-stream. We normally run it through Restream, which does seem to like the settings a little bit better, but have a play about with that midweek and try and get it resolved for next Monday's stream. In the results, we've got third season of Moonriders Heroica series. And the golden jersey is currently on the shoulders of the man we're following, Jonathan Orr. In second place, his teammate Cedric Daniels, and then in third, Ratio Racing's Mark Rowbottom. Although that could be changing tonight, as Arno Dennett is going to be taking more points, it would appear, than Mark Rowbottom tonight. So could be a switch around on that third step of the podium. Jan Vanna is not too far in fifth, so looking like the first and second positions are fairly well decided, but could be some challenge for that third spot. Team GC, well, Credence, Team 3R are really flying away with that one. They're 4,154 points. Their closest competitor, Ratio Racing, is on 3,478. They are doing really well in that series. Cedric Niels there managed to put a little bit more distance into John Beams. John Beams in fourth position, but looking like he's going to stick with that position. Unless Williamson has a fantastic second half of this race. Beams there, a good hairpin in front of Williamson. Wouterklaes is not too far out of that mix. Wouterklaes could be taking Williamson. 100 meters separating those two. Mark Rowbottom down in 7th now, with Lorenzo Simons. Interesting to see which one of these riders has the energy to make it to the top first. There's a number of competitions running within the Heroica series. We've got a purple jersey competition, which is for women only, and again it's the best 8 results out of 12 that count, and that is currently being won by Karen Bailey, Moonriders, and the team Satellite Riders, who's raced all the 7 of the stages so far. 1 stage left to race to confirm victory. Green jersey competition. There's 2 more races left in that one. Again, in a way that Jonathan Orr is riding at the moment, it's hard to see anyone overturning that. Doug Hart's his closest competitor, and Nick Greenhalgh is quite close in that competition too. Green jersey, the sprinters jersey, the flat stages jersey. And tonight being one of the last of the hilly races, and the top 3 positions very close in that one. Jonathan Orr and Arno Dennett challenging for this top position. It's very close between these 2 riders. There's only 5 points separating them at the moment in the red jersey for the climbers jersey. Lorenzo Simon's just there, opening a small gap on Mark Rowbottom here. I don't think that's an intentional move. Moment, I think he's just running at his own pace, and Mark maybe not be able to go with him. That gap's opening up ever so slowly. 10 meters now. Well, that may just be the moment where Lorenzo Simon's decided he's got enough in the tank to go all the way at that slightly higher pace. Creeping open. Down the valley there. Lorenzo Simon's not riding with a heart rate monitor tonight, so we can't see how hard he is going. Just opening up a small gap on Mark Rowbottom. Mark, heart rate up at 173, cadence is 61. Trying to keep that gap to Lorenzo Simon's there. Just looking around this hairpin. Gradient fluctuating from 3% up to over 11 there. Difficult to decide whether to change gear, and then round the hairpin and comes into a steady near 10% gradient. Lorenzo keeps that gap 23 meters on Mark Rowbottom. Down to hairpin number 13 now. Further down the field we've got Kerpel, and then just behind Kerpel trying to make the catch we've got Jan Vanner and Newton. All teammates together. Newton possibly choosing a better gear there. Just goes in front of Vanna. All grouping below of Algagny and Sheppers. Daniel Shock there. Algagny just pulling away now from Joy Sheppers. See Vermont just coming round that hairpin. Algagny again, the rider not having a heart rate monitor there, or cadence sensor as well. For the purposes of fair and open competition, we would really recommend anybody who's looking to compete to consider the use of a heart rate monitor. It isn't necessary, but whenever event organizers are looking at results, being able to see somebody's heart rate compared to the power that they're putting out is a real quick and easy check on how legitimate it is. So if there's ever any questions raised, it's often one of the quickest ways that people look and check is to see whether you've got a heart rate monitoring and how your power varies in relation to your heart rate. As you see here, we're sitting with Vanna. He's up at 186 there, but his heart rate really struggling on this climb to keep power down. Heart rate is a very personal thing. Some people put down a lot of power at a very low heart rate, but it is easy to see that if power goes up and the heart rate reflects it, but there's no outside influences being used. Let's put it that way. So Vanna, Newton, Kerpel there, just fragmenting slightly as we're going up this climb at 6%. Kerpel hitting that hairpin first, coming around it. Newton not too far behind. Getting to the point now where there's not a lot of the course left to go. See Algagny there just flying up and catching up to these riders. Jump up to the front here, we've got Jonathan Orr, and I think we can just see the shape of Arno Dennett on that lower road there. Gapping of 312 minutes now from Jonathan Orr to Arno Dennett. Now there's Arno Dennett just coming into view. And that might be Cedric Daniels that we were seeing before on those lower slopes. These hairpins just looking back into the distance there, seeing them all laid down upon this huge mountain. Jonathan Orr comes underneath the Flamme Rouge. There's 1 kilometre left to go. Checking off these hairpins. 8.4% gradient, just increasing into that hairpin, then it drops off and bounces back up again. It's very difficult for anybody to keep a tempo going around the corner. Zhao just commenting that he's expecting to see some good times, and they are looking fast tonight, the riders. Jonathan Orr now, only 750 meters to go, and time is currently 41 minutes 30 seconds. Now, again, creeping up with the gradient, hitting 13% there, coming around that hairpin. Just disturbing the rhythm momentarily. Riders jumping out of the saddles to power through, keep the cadence going. We're going around that. Cadence barely fluctuating for Jonathan Orr there, 62, 63. Alright, 176. Come now within 400 meters. Arno Dennett, 370 meters behind. Pull out for a long shot, see if we can catch Arno in the distance. You can see the finish line up there. The other rider's just too small to be caught at the moment. Jonathan Orr digs deep, puts in a sprint for the finish line. Coming in well under the hour for this course. Looking like he's going to have a time of about 43, 45. Is it taking that long to get to the finish line? No, nowhere near. 43.40. And bam, crosses the line. We'll drop back to Arno Dennett now. Arno Dennett with Cedric Daniels snapping at his heels. 94 meters the gap back to Cedric Daniels. Arno Dennett pushes on. 4.9 watts per kilogram. Heart rate up at 178. See the finish line. Five watts per kilogram. Good high cadence at 96 for a climbing cadence here. Perhaps Arno Dennett's using the slope intensity feature. You can use the slope intensity feature on RGT to give you increased gear ratios. Doesn't lessen the climb, but it makes it easier to get over it. As we're going up at 6.2 watts per kilogram. Cedric Daniels there chases on, 78 meters behind. Arno Dennett over the line in second. Cedric Daniels coming up in third. 6.2 watts per kilogram, 6.3. Little sprint for the finish line here. 490 watts. Heart rate 180 as he crosses the line. John Beams streams most of his own races. I encourage you to head over and check out his channel. Give him a subscribe and a follow. He's coming up in fourth position. You do get to watch John as he suffers in his pain cave. Heart rate 171, a little lower than some of the riders who've come up here before tonight. Pulling a sprint out of the back here to get to the line. .1 watts per kilogram. Fantastic power in these closing stages of this race. unforgiving climb all the way to the finish line. Up at 6% still. Just starts to ease. Now with Williamson coming up on the line now. Going to be finishing under. Again, under 47 minutes. Williamson now sprinting 6 watts per kilogram. 70 meters left to go. Managed to increase the gap on Wahoo looking like he was threatening earlier on. But Williamson managed to hold him off and increase his gap to 430 meters on Wahoo. Wahoo here in 6th position. Zhao Zuckner is saying on the chat that Arno's not in his best shape today. He's absolutely flown up this climb. Be interested to see what his best shape is like. As Wouter is coming up in 6th position. Lorenzo Simons in 7th there. You can just see him on that lower slope. Chasing hard. He's not going to make it up to the wheel of Wouter as Wouter comes over in 6th position in under 49 minutes. And Wouter with a sprint for the line. At 480 plus watts there. Lorenzo Simons not too far behind. Cadence 65. He's over the line in 7th position. Mark Rowbottom, these two, Lorenzo Simons and Rowbottom, were locked together earlier on. Lorenzo just managed to squeeze out a few extra watts on the earlier slopes and distance. Mark Rowbottom, he's managed to hold that gap to the conclusion of the race. Rowbottom in 8th position. It's maybe a race that Mark perhaps doesn't use the rating for. It's a best 8 of 12 series, the Heroica series, so it is possible that you only count your best 8. You can choose not to compete in 4 of the races, or it'll automatically choose your best finishes for you. You have to go through and choose the races yourself, which you've decided to not take part in. So Cal Gagne coming up to the finish line now, 5.3 watts per kilogram. Finishes in 9th position. Kerpel on his tail there, but not quite making it to the wheel. But Jan Vanner and Newton here. And Newton pulls out a sprint. Vanner responds, and neither of them really go for Newton here. Is just doing a little bit of yo-yoing. I'm not sure if Newton's trying to overtake Vanner here, or is just struggling with his cadence, perhaps, as Vanner pulls out 6.2 watts per kilogram and opens a small gap on Newton. Newton last minute sprint to the line. Gary Sheppers, 13th position. .5 watts per kilogram at the close of this race. Over the line in fine style. Daniel Schock and Dee Vermont, both Moonriders, together here. Top of Vermont, nobody behind them. Vermont opens up a little sprint here. Daniel Shock opens up a sprint. Vermont's tapered off. Daniel Shock will make it over the finish line first, with Vermont coming in close behind. And Doug Hart, 16th position. That trio of pedalers, riders being separated now, with a Team 3R rider, Stimson, in the midst. Doug Hart's going to come over the line in 16th position, but there's going to be a little bit of a battle, I think, behind between Stimson and Henrik Mard. Stimson applying the power there, dropping Henrik Mard slightly. Doug Hart holding on to that 16th position, and Doug opens up a sprint now, 5.6 watts per kilogram. Stimson behind, sprinting too, but Doug Hart looking like he's got more power in this late stage of the race. Opens up a gap on Stimson. 20 meters, 30 meters. Doug Hart's going to come over the line comfortably, holding on to his 16th position. Stimson managing to distance Henrik Mard. Henrik Mard there, finishing just in front of his Blair's teammate Daniel Neuber. It's Daniel Neuber. Dino Burr being chased down by Ross Collins, but Ross a little too far away to overhaul Neuber in this 6% gradient. Neuber just eases over the line. Collins with a great finish in 20th position here. Collins comes over the line in 20th. Krasnoborski around hairpin number 2. A bit further down the course than I was expecting. There's a little gap, 500 meters so from Ross Collins. And yeah, I was just saying in the chat there that Arno Dennett has done this course in under 43 minutes, so he's a little bit slower tonight. Krasnoborski. First position. Mallard 100 meters back, and then not too far behind that, Wayne Schnitzling, who's just applying a little bit more power at the moment, trying to perhaps overhaul Mallard before the finish line as Krasnoborski comes past hairpin number 1 and enters that finish straight. 150 meters for Krasnoborski there, as we see Mallard on the lower slopes. King Tubby not too far behind him. Krasnoborski 100 meters out. Heart rate up 175. Come past these flags and the branding of the Heroica series, which I think I've mentioned on every race, but very impressed by the way that they've put it all together for this event. And Mallard now going past that section, opens up a sprint just to ensure he keeps the gap from King Tubby. Wayne Schnitzling coming over the line in 23rd position. Wayne had a little bit of a break from his regular racing and riding over the summer, so he's gradually getting himself back to fitness, and his slightly jokey name that he's changed on RGT, I think he's trying to lose a little bit of weight as well, get himself back into full form. Van Bears comes over the line, 24th position. Racio Racing team colours. Rajowski, 25th position. And with Falagora with significant gap back to Kovacic. And the camera around, see if we can pick out any riders on the lower slopes. Kovacic 250 meters back from Walagora. Just see him on that lower road there. Walagora closes in on the finish line. 50 meters remaining. Walagora, one of the home team Moonriders team riders, comes over the line just under the hour. Barely creeps over there. Kovacic, 27th position. Quite a big gap back to teammate Rob Miller. $870 meters back to Rob Miller there as Kovacic comes around that final hairpin. Heads towards the finish line. Kovacic there, 37 meters to go to the finish line. Teammate Rob Miller, 800 meters of this grueling climb left to go. Right. Now he's just saying in the chat that when Arno got the time of under 43 minutes, they'd rode together and they were riding together all the way up. So he's wondering if they'd perhaps had some drafting benefit. Just commenting back that I think in RGT, if you've got speeds of over about 15 kilometers, then there is some drafting benefit to be had. In general, on climbs like this, your average speeds are generally low. I can see here Rob Miller's doing about 13.8 there, certainly under 14 kilometers per hour. So you have to be extremely close to the back wheel of the rider to get any drafting benefit, and then you're only maybe getting a few watts, maybe 10 watts of drafting benefit, which can quite often be negated by the auto braking formula. So if you're behind a rider in RGT and you putting out slightly more power than them, then the program will auto brake you. If you're not putting out enough power to overtake them, it'll sort of slow you slightly to stay in that drafting, whichever is the best benefit for you. But it can mean sometimes that you're not really, you might be gaining 10 watts, but you also could be losing 8 watts because of the auto braking. So much more difficult to draft on the climbs than it is on the flats. Borrego Springs, if you're getting into RGT and you're looking to improve your drafting skills, then definitely jump on Borrego Springs, get yourself behind a bot, and one of the pace bots, ideally. The real bots can be very canny fellas. They fluctuate their speed somewhat, but if you get yourself behind a pace bot and you can learn the drafting skill, very, very different on virtual platforms to how it is on the road. You get so many small visual cues on the road that help you to stay in the drafting pocket much more easily. And even little things like seeing when your friends' cadence changes, so you know that they're going to be slowing or accelerating slightly. You don't get the same on RGT. Rob there, 90 meters left to go. We can see Hulbert there, the next rider on the road in 29th position, just coming round. Hulbert emptying the tank on these last little sections. Rob Miller coming in with 3.3 watts per kilogram. We see that Hulbert is up at 4.4 watts per kilogram, trying to stay away from Caruso. And Caruso has obviously saved something in the tank for this last little section. Caruso absolutely flying now at 6.7, 7.2 watts per kilogram, looking like he's going to overtake Hulbert in this last section. Hulbert 4.4 watts per kilogram, holding onto this small gap with desperation. Caruso rampaging 7.1 watts per kilogram. 75 meters left to go, and he's going to overhaul Hulbert. Caruso comes flying up to the finish line, still maintaining a sprint of 5.6 watts per kilogram, and steals that last position there from Hulbert. Caruso finishing 29th, Hulbert in 30th. James a little bit further down the course at 31st position, wearing the same kit as Hulbert and also the racing under the Welsh flag, so perhaps teammates. James 31st position. Got a decent gap of 140 meters over Reeves now. Then we were 44 starters to this course, We're down to, I think, 35 finishers. A few dropouts along the way, it would appear. See James now, 60 meters left to go. 4 watts per kilogram. Over that line, 31st position. Reeves, 32nd with a gapping of 120 meters to Pales, the next rider on the road. Reeves, just an hour and 7 minutes, just under the hour, 8 minutes for Reeves now. Hales. Great riding for Pales here, coming in 33rd position. Pales there, over the line, hour and 8 minutes 37. Carter a little bit further down the course, 1.75 kilometers remaining. Might not make it to the end of this course with Carter and Brackelvan. I'll give them a little bit of air time, and then we just have to cut it short before we get to the finish line with Carter and Brackelvan. Just showing the trailer there for VCN team time trial. There's new bits being added to the next series, which is ready to go. We are on the last race of the current series, and the new series is already ready to go. Courses are already organised. There are notifications and discussions going on in Discord. There is this season, for the first time, I think I can announce it now, there's going to be an individual time trial series as well. There's currently a ranked race, so there's a race that takes place on Sundays on the TT course. There's a ranked race, which is an individual competition race of free for all. You can go on and take part in. Just to take part in that one race, you can take part in the whole series if you want, but you don't have to be a team to take part in that one race. So we are running an individual time trial series on the same courses, so you can race with your team, you can race with an individual, and you can just run it as a standard race on the Sunday. There's also a recce that takes place at the same time as this event on Mondays, which is just a group ride to have a ride of the course, and if you're going to be riding it with your teammates, it can be good to ride the course and check out where all the pinch points are, where you might want to slow down slightly or accelerate, where you can make the most of the course. Carter with 1.35 kilometers left to go. Drop back to Brackelvan. Brackelvan here with 3.3 kilometers remaining. And they're riding in the dirt jersey. That's inside riding trainers. That's an organisation that raises money for dads can ride on trainers inside. Yeah, just getting some details up on the Dirt Dad Fund. The Dirt Dad Fund is a group that's been started to help people who perhaps need a little bit of financial assistance, dads who are experiencing life challenges or financial hardship, and they have dirt merchandise, and that goes to help the proceeds from the sales of that merchandise goes to help with the Dirt Dad Fund. Basically, it's something that we can help people out by doing something that you enjoy. It's effectively what it is. There's a Dirt Dad organisation with their own kit. We've got 2.87 kilometres left for Van Brakel. Carter a little bit further forward in the race. But there's one of our riders here, Kovacic. So, having finished earlier, 27th position. Carter now, 800 metres left to go. As I took a few minutes to find the information on the Dirt Dad Fund, we'll sit with Carter and watch them cross the line. And then I think we're going to cut the feed there. And Brackelvan will ride on solo. Carter, cadence of 80 there, pushing out 190 watts. A couple of hairpins left to go for them still. We do a dual stream on Mondays, which I don't know if some of you have realised. Earlier on in the evening, RIAC, one of our partners, is a training partner. RIAC is a triathlon training group, and every Monday night they run a series which is the e-racer series, which helps people prepare for e-racing events. They've been running that for a little while and streaming it on the VCN channel, so you can go back through the YouTube and check out any of the Monday night streams that you've missed. Richard goes through different ways to improve your cycling, different tips and tricks, and a whole training series. And you can also take part in that with any questions that you have, and Richard answers those while he's on the bike doing the session. It's a really good resource to have. So they stream on the Facebook page and on Twitch, and also goes out on Twitter as well, and a number of other platforms. Then we stream the Heroica series just on the YouTube channel, because YouTube can support multiple streams and Facebook doesn't like that, nor does Twitch. It can bring you 2 streams at the same time, but if you're interested more in the training aspect at the moment, then check out Rich's stream at 6:30 on the Mondays, and we usually post a link up for that. We're trying to get the links up earlier. They do go out on a Monday, normally just before the event, but we're trying to get them up earlier so people can sign up and get involved sooner. Plan your training a little bit more, but it does happen every week at the same time. So and Carter now coming 170 meters to the finish line, slopes up at 13.3%, a very nasty bit of elevation this late on in the ride. It's the road that just keeps on giving you. You'd like to think you get some relief as you get towards the finish line, but it just gives you another kick in the teeth. Carter now only 125 meters left to go to the finish line. Carter crosses the line there. 1 hour 21:21. So Brackle, Van now 2.04 kilometers from the finish. It's looking like they're going to crack on and get this beasted. Regardless.